Hello everyone. Today we are going to explain the content on negotiation of international payment terms, Section 2, Payment Methods. This section primarily covers remittance collection and letter of credit. First, let's take a look at remittance. Remittance refers to the payer actively transferring funds to the payee through banks or other means. In international trade, if the payment method is remittance, it usually involves the buyer transferring the agreed upon amount to the seller through a bank at the agreed upon time and conditions. Since the flow of funds in remittance is the same as the direction of the payment instrument, remittance uses a method known as
favorable remittance.
Under the remittance method, whether the seller can receive the agreed upon amount on time completely depends on the buyer's credit. Therefore, the nature of remittance is commercial credit. There are four parties involved in remittance: the remitter, the payee, the remitting bank, and paying bank. Remittance can be done through telegraphic transfer, mail transfer, and demand draft. Telegraphic transfer refers to a method of remittance where the sending bank, at the request of the remitter, uses telex or other similar means to send a telegraphic transfer payment order to the receiving bank, instructing it to credit the funds to the beneficiary's account. Mail transfer refers to a method of remittance where the sending bank, upon the request of the remitter, sends a mail transfer payment order or payment authorization to the receiving bank through postal services, authorizing the receiving bank to disburse a specified amount to the beneficiary. The general procedure for draft settlement is as follows. The remitter fills out an application form and makes a payment to the remitting bank, which then issues an immediate draft to the remitter, and then the remitter mails it themselves to the payee. At the same time, the remitting bank sends a draft advice, also known as a draft copy, to the paying bank for the paying bank to verify when the payee presents the immediate draft for payment. After the paying bank confirms that everything is in order, it disperses the funds to the payee and sends a debit advice to the remitting bank to settle the claims and debts between the two parties. Next, we will study collections. P11. A collection refers to a process where the creditor issues a bill of exchange and entrusts a bank to collect the payments from the debtor. This method of payment is typically handled through banks. Hence, it is also known as bank collection, since the flow of funds in a collection is opposite to the direction of the transfer instrument. Therefore, this method employs a reverse remittance approach. Under the collection method, whether the exporter can recover the payment entirely depends on the credit worthiness of the importer and is dependent of the credit of the entrusted bank. Thus, the nature of a collection is commercial credit. There are four parties involved in a collection: the principal, the remitting bank, the collecting bank, and the payer. According to the different types of documents involved, collection can be divided into clean collection and documentary collection. Clean collection refers to the exporter relying solely on a bill of exchange without accompanying shipping documents, authorizing the exporter's bank to collect payments on their behalf from the importer as a method of settlement. Documentary collection is a common form of payment method. In international trade, it refers to the exporter issues a bill of exchange that, along with the full set of shipping documents representing the ownership of the goods, and hands them over to the exporter's bank, authorizing it to collect the payment from the importer through the importer's bank as a method of settlement. Depending on the conditions for documents delivery, documentary collection can be further divided into documents against payments and documents against acceptance. Finally, we learn about letters of credit. A letter of credit refers to an irrevocable arrangement, regardless of its name or description, whereby such arrangement constitutes a definite undertaking by the issue bank to honor compliant presentations. In simple terms, a letter of credit is a written commitment issued by the issue bank to the exporter at the request of the importer to provide conditional assurance of payment. The characteristics and nature of letters of credit include: first, a letter of credit is a form of bank credit. A letter of credit is an assurance of payment made by the issuing bank on its own credit, meaning that subject to compliance with the terms of the letter of credit, the issuing bank assumes the primary liability for payment. Second, a letter of credit is an independent document. A letter of credit is issued based on the sales contract, but once issued, it becomes a separate agreement independent of the sales contract. Third, a letter of credit is a transaction involving documents. Letter of credit operations are purely documentary payment transactions. Banks deal with letter of credit matters solely based on documents without inquiring into the actual condition of the goods. There are 8 parties involved in a letter of credit. There are the applicant, issuing bank, advising bank, beneficiary, negotiating bank, paying bank, accepting bank, reimbursing bank, and confirming bank. Under normal circumstances, the operation process of letter of credit transactions includes the following basic steps. First, the buyer and seller enter into a contract and stipulate the use of a letter of credit as a method to settle the payment for goods. Second, the applicant submits an application to a local bank, completing the letter of credit application form according to the contract, and either deposits a margin or provides other guarantees, requesting the issuing bank to issue the letter of credit. Third, the issuing bank issues a letter of credit to the exporter based on the contents of the application and sends it to the exporter's local bank. Fourth, the advising bank verifies the apparent authenticity of the letter of credit and then forwards it to the exporter. Fifth, after the exporter reviews the letter of credit without errors, they ship the goods according to the requirements of the letter of credit and prepare the full set of documents, submitting them within the time frame specified in the letter of credit to the designated bank for honor or negotiation. If the designated bank does not handle the honor or negotiation as instructed by the issuing bank, then that bank acts as a remitting bank. 6. The designated bank sends a full set of documents to the issuing bank or its designated paying bank for reimbursement. 7. The issuing bank verifies the documents without errors and either makes the payment itself or authorizes the reimbursing bank to pay the designated bank. 8. The issuing bank informs the applicant to make the payment and redeem the documents. Please complete the following post-class tasks. Alright, this concludes our lesson for today. See you in the next class.